friends. Welcome to episode 105 of Revisiting Sunnydale. I'm Camila.
I'm Marcella.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please like our Facebook page, Revisiting Sunnydale. Follow us on Twitter at Back2Sunnydale. And rate, review, follow us, subscribe to us, and all that jazz on iTunes, Libsyn, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Player FM. Is it antiquated to call it iTunes? Is it just Apple Podcasts now?
I don't know. I think it's still iTunes. iTunes is still a thing. I quit using it like years ago, but it's still a thing, I think.
Yeah, it's still, I still have the iTunes, and I have
But there is a podcast app. Maybe it is just podcast.
But I don't really pay much attention to my iTunes anymore. I've stopped actually purchasing music from there. I just do the Apple Music.
I just do Amazon.
Yeah, it's so many platforms now. I can't even get to it. All right, so how are you hanging in there this quarantine week?
I'm fine. I see light at the end of the tunnel, not as quickly as folks in Atlanta seem to see light at the end of the tunnel.
I know.
Damn crazy people.
It's outrageous. I can't imagine. A tattoo parlor's really necessary to open right away.
Right. You really need a massage? I mean, I need a massage.
I do too, but
not with gloves.
No, it's going to be a while before I feel comfortable enough to go get an actual massage again. And I'm most upset about it.
Imagine the feel of oil and silicone. Feels like a serial killer is about to kill me. That's not. I'm supposed to be there to de-stress, not to fear for my life. No, thank you.
Never mind. No amount of lavender is going to calm me down anymore. I'm just gonna go drink heavily.
The sound of a rubber glove. No, thank you. That is not what I'm. Now my butt's clenched and I'm uncomfortable. All right. Yeah, it's quarantine life. It is,
and I just don't. I don't know, man. I'm, I guess, slowly adapting. We had baby's 1 year first birthday, not via Zoom.
Happy birthday, baby!
But it was weird. It was cool and everything. Folks showed up or whatnot, but I felt awkward. What do we do? I only, I don't know if I
want to watch me feed this cake to the baby.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I think the whole thing may have lasted 20 minutes, with all the hellos and hi, how you doing, blah blah blah, and then happy birthday. We sang happy birthday. She didn't eat the cake. She was she was barely into the cake situation. And then I was like, okay, well, thanks everybody. I guess we're
gonna go now. Yeah, it's hard. We did virtual board gaming and it was very difficult.
Yeah.
And we're going to try again, but I miss gaming. I miss people. I miss, I don't miss movie theaters at all.
I saw that, what was it? They were Universal was super stoked about the success of Trolls 2 or whatever that came out. And then so they're bet, we'll just start, release stuff in theaters and online. Thank you. That's
and AMC. Did you hear what AMC? No, you won't. Oh, you won't do that? Well, we're not going to show any Universal movies. Okay, well, that just makes them further want to do what they're going to do.
You're a petty bitch, AMC.
Right? You realize it's going to happen eventually.
Right. And this is
theaters are going to die, sadly.
We've been wishing for this for years.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I think quarantine may bring back, which would make me so happy, are drive-in theaters.
Right.
Because that's the perfect social distance theater.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm
in my car, don't come near me.
Right. And I'm sure with technology and Bluetooth and all that stuff, we don't have to do the whole with the speaker in the window and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so everybody's got Bluetooth in their cars and all that jazz. So it's yes, absolutely. I can stretch out. I can
sit in my lawn chair. Right. I can,
I can bring my own snacks.
Right. Yes. I can bring. No, you can't. You still can't drink and drive.
Right.
A lot of people do bring beer and stuff.
Still frowned upon, Marcel.
Yes, that's still frowned upon. It's not the place, not the time. But we'll get through it, and we're looking. Our state will probably open next week.
I think that's what they're saying. I think it's supposed to announce later today, which counties will be the first to open up. I know they were talking about Friday. They're opening golf courses.
Yeah. Whatever. Okay, rich men need to do their golfing in their business.
I know.
All right. That's
like,
super important.
Right. I feel like that's a direct reflection of like how many governors are golf addicts.
So. How many rich white men are bored?
Right. Exactly. All right. Season 6, episode 4 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
At the show we're here to.
Right. Flooded. Original air date October 16th, 2001. Written by Douglas Petrie and Jane Espenson. Directed by Douglas Petrie. While trying to get a loan, Buffy runs afoul. Oh, what? Buffy runs. Buffy runs. I don't know.
Afoul. She runs afoul
of 3 deadbeat sorcerers who are using the otherworldly powers of a demon to rob a bank.
I love this description.
Deadbeat sorcerers.
Right. And those deadbeat sorcerers are our important guest stars this week.
Yes.
The trio.
Adam Bush as Warren, Tom Lenk as Andrew, Danny Strong as Jonathan. And Anthony Stewart Head is mentioned as a special guest. And, of course...
Heather Locklear. He becomes a special guest star this season instead of a regular cast member.
That's so messed up.
It's so messed up, but we only get him for a couple episodes, and then he gets sick of Buffy shit and leaves again.
As one does. So this episode, we're starting off with Buffy needs new pipes.
What is she thinking? She's down there with a wrench. Trying to I'm not fucking with pipes myself.
No.
I'm not, if there's a leaky pipe, I'm going to be like, Mom,
right,
this thing's dripping water. What do I do with it?
This is outside of it's beyond my pay grade. I know.
Right. And she calls it Mr. Drippy, which is adorable. It's nice to see she's rebounded so quickly from her death.
Sort of, kind of. Like, she's a little spacey, it seems, as one would expect.
Mm-hmm.
So, after all, like she's got the drip, and then, Xander calls in one of his little contracting buddies, and apparently he gives him a discount rate, which to Dawn looks like a phone number. And,
it must not have been a very good discount.
Right. And I don't know, because she needs like all new copper piping or some shit.
Full copper repipe.
Full copper repipe.
Full copper repipes.
And Buffy's like, what's the big deal? We'll pay the bill. And then, by the way, Willow's like, oh, hey, well, you have no money. Okay. So, and I can't really hear anything else that happens in the rest of this episode because I'm just still so very pissed that Tara and Willow have been living there and nobody suggests to get a job. Now, one of the motherfuckers offers to get a job.
Not even Dawn. She's of working age.
Yeah.
She could be working at Double Meat Palace.
Absolutely. And it pisses me off. So as if Buffy doesn't have enough to deal with. Now she's got to go find a job.
Which here's another problematic issue I have with this episode. Joyce is dead. Your daughters are living on their own. I can't even check in one. Like, he's not sending them any kind of money.
None whatsoever.
He's not taking care of them at all.
At all. It's as if they don't exist.
Which leads me again to think that the monks may have erased Joyce and Buffy from Hank's memory, and he never knew about Dawn. She claims to have had time with him by the sea, but does he remember it?
Right.
He sure don't act like it.
You don't act like neither one of them exists. Like, he caught, like, they were worried that he might call when Buffy was still dead, and I don't know if he ever did.
Nope, he did. He sure did.
Did he even come in for the funeral? No.
Nope. And why I don't understand why social services is like, okay, we have to worry about taking you away from your sister. Where's her dad?
Right. Why
was Dawn not immediately given to Hank?
Right. Was he just like, no, absolutely not. Like, it was there shouldn't have. Because if they did not deem Hank like enough to go ahead, like worthy enough to go ahead and take Dawn from the jump,
he would have had to sign over his parental rights.
Right. And Buffy is an adult, so it doesn't make any sense. And her sister, it's her next of kin outside of her deadbeat dad. So it just doesn't make any sense why I don't understand why social services would have been up Buffy's ass all this.
Right.
this time at all.
That's the only explanation, is that Hank signed away that they called him, and he was like, fuck no. Have you met her? No. No. I'm married to my assistant. I'm not about that life. No.
Right.
Where do you want me to sign? Via con Dios. Peace be with you. Don't call me again. That's Hank.
Ugh, speaking of
and the pile of bills that is on the table, that they're just like, we haven't done shit. This is like 8 months worth of electric bill, water bill. There's some mortgage. I don't know.
Sure had enough time to like decorate my dead mom's bedroom and get yourself real cozy, like, and all tucked in real nice. Like, nobody's been doing anything.
Nothing.
So where's somewhere there's some money that was coming in for at least food, because you bitches didn't starve to death.
Yeah. Which I think is probably coming from either, well, it's not coming from Anya, because she would rather die. That is her money. But I think Xander may be feeding them.
Maybe. Either way, these guys are not as good of friends as one would like to believe.
No. But Anya does have a wonderful idea.
Well, she's got plans. She's like, you know what? I got a whole strategy for you to get out of debt, sister. Just let me.
And to set up a college fund for Dawn.
Right. She's all about charge for slaying.
Yep. And Dawn is like, you can't charge innocent people. Why not? That's exactly what the whole basis of Angel's show is.
Right. Yeah.
Charging people for saving their lives. She could have been a private detective. I would have watched that show.
Right. It works for Angel. Why not her?
But instead, she also is like, oh, God, that's an idea you would have.
Like, wow. I'm the only one offering any advice here other than, hey, you're broke. And it was our fault. So, and Anya also points out that Spider-Man charges for helping people. Joel Spiderman.
And Xander, of course, has to swallow every feeling he has inside of him telling him not to say this, but he does it anyway. And says that, what is it? Something reward is his true reward.
I forget exactly what it is.
Like,
basically
being good is his true reward.
Right. Because Dawn and Anya have a little spat.
Action is his reward. So Anya gets pissed and she leaves. She's out. She's like, you don't take my side. And, she knows she's wrong, but it's something bigger is a brewing. She's still pissed off that she can't talk about their engagement. And, and he double talks his way out of that argument. And she almost buys it. And she's like, wait a minute. No. She's like, nope. It's not going to work again with your sweet talk and whatnot. It's like, fuck you. Basically, get either shit or get off the pot. Yep. When you going to grow up, Xander? And she walks away and he's just like, he does that Xander thing where he looks confused and then looks at her butt. She looks very, very nice in this episode. I like her hair. Her outfit's very nice. Yeah, she does. This is a good look for her. Like she was kind of having that Cordelia on Angel moment where like every episode her hair was like she was trying to figure out what she was going to do with her hair for like 5 consecutive episodes, and we're all like, stop cutting it. I can't wait to talk about those episodes. She was like the Barbie I cut when I was 7 or 8 and I fucked it up and I just had to keep cutting it, but it just kept getting worse until I just cut it all off. So in the meantime, poor Buffy goes to the bank to get a loan, and she takes her report cards because that's what you do when you're asking for large institutions for large sums of money. You don't have a job. As far as I know, you've never had a job. Ew. So except for when she was going by Anne in LA. You have no credit. No. You have the house. Your mom probably left you the house. That's all you have. Right. And the banker even tells her that that's all you have, and it is way. No, it ain't gonna work. Like I can't explain it, but like the property value here in Sunnydale is really low or something, something like that. Like I don't know why, but basically like
property here in Sunnydale is worse shit. Well, it's because you guys are on a hellmouth and things get blowed up and there's demons attack every 2 months. The fuckers are fleeing.
The principal was the snake. And it's really ridiculous that she actually thought she was going to get this loan. She would have been better off just applying for a credit card. They'll give you one of those.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're predatory, just waiting to give first-time creditors some lines of credit that they can't possibly pay back in a respectable amount of time.
But in true Buffy fashion, a demon attacks. Because she can't go anywhere without a demon attacking. And she tries to kick it, but her stupid skirt it's a pencil skirt, and it's too tight.
Although it's cute, it's not functional. She was not prepared to do any slaying today, and this demon is just like wrecking havoc, just like...
And he reminds me of Putty from Seinfeld. I don't think it is him. I meant to look it up.
I don't think it is, but yes, I got that very strong Putty vibe.
Yes. But she uses her loan officer's scissors, I think, to cut the skirt so that she can fight. And a stupid security guard decides that a gun is a good idea for a demon.
Well, he didn't even shoot it. He didn't even try. He just kind of pointed in his direction. And the demon threw Buffy at him.
And then ran off like a little bitch.
Oh, yeah. So this demon is just like causes a bunch of chaos, blah, blah, blah. And then we see like some hands snatching money in the background. And, it doesn't seem like, so we're confused. Like, why is this demon just, it comes in, does a little damage, and then leaves. And we think, maybe he's robbing the bank, or he's with the dudes robbing the bank, obviously.
So he runs off, and do we meet is it at that point we meet the trio after that? No, Buffy's all pissed off and fighty.
Right. Yeah. So
she's fighting in the back room of the magic box.
Goes to work out, and Willow's there, chatting with her and, explaining everything. But it seems that Willow's concerned that Buffy is lacking some emotion. She's since her resurrection. And,
worry about yourself, Willow. Seriously.
Right, because Buffy's just kind of like mad, but like she's saying she's mad about it, and then Will's like, "Oh, that's great. You're mad. That's an emotion." And Buffy's like, now I'm over it.
Yeah, she's really cute. It's past.
Willow tries to get her riled up by saying she had an affair with Riley and then one with Angel, and she's explained, but Buffy just kind of blows the whole thing off, which...
I love that she's like, I really doubt it. And she says she had an affair with Angel with Riley.
It's like, okay.
I really doubt it.
And I don't know if that was like just to say that because, obviously you're gay, Willow, or because Riley's not someone that she would necessarily one would have an affair with.
Right. And she tries to up the ante by saying, "Oh yeah, you caught me. I was just trying to cover up my sleazy affair with Angel." And Buffy's just like, "What the hell are you doing?
What's wrong with you?
I'm just trying to get you mad again."
So now we meet our deadbeat sorcerers.
Deadbeat sorcerers.
The demon was a demon for hire.
Yes.
And we meet Andrew, Jonathan, and Warren, who are just sitting in their nerd den with random monies, just bills just strewn about everywhere.
Oh, but first, we forgot about the part where Giles comes back first.
Oh, that's right.
Giles, yeah. Dawn's doing research, and Giles comes back and sees Buffy, and it's like, I want to cry.
He's so happy. I know it. Like, he's so happy and just there. You could just see it in his eyes. He just wants to just kind of tear up a little bit. It's like, oh my God, you're alive, blah, blah, blah. And I guess it's only been a couple days at this point.
Which, that's a lot of money in plane rides.
Right, because Willow, when they raised her from the dead, Willow said she called Giles that night and that he was going to be on the next flight over.
Yeah, which it must have taken a day or two to get a flight,
I guess.
But they hug, and he's so happy, and he's you can just tell he's over the moon, but then he also remembers that she's also still remarkably strong because she's squeezing him too hard because she's so happy.
Oh, that's really sweet.
It is really sweet. And they need this stabilizing force in their lives.
Yeah, seriously. Oh, so they're all trying to figure out who the demon is, and Giles breaks it down, or Dawn finds Fashnik.
Fashnik, like cookies.
But actually, it's Fashnik, like M'Baku. Which sort of Buffy, like this episode is how I always remember how to say M'Baku's name. And Giles lets everybody know that Fashnik is a demon for hire. Like, he's just basically, he does whatever for not necessarily money, I guess.
No, the thrill, I guess.
I guess he just, I don't know, he wants something in return.
That's just how things are. So then we get our trio of idiots just sitting around money.
So they're
the worst criminals in the world.
They are. It's just a hot mess over there. Like, it's like
Jonathan's like clutching a whole armful of money. They're all sitting in beanbags in Warren's basement, I think.
I think so. So in Fashnik, he's ready to collect. And he's like pissed off because the Slayer was there. And he's like, that wasn't part of the plan. And they're like, we didn't know. And there's this whole hilarious scene that just sets the tone for their entire existence. When Fashnik is like, who's the leader? And they all say, I am. And then he's like, I'll kill the leader. And then they all point to Jonathan.
Yes. Oh, Lord, Jonathan's like, you guys suck. But he agrees not to kill him because he wants to kill the Slayer. And for some reason, they're like, oh, yeah, we can totally get that for you. We can totally make that happen. But what I love is is this one in they go through like what each of them did? Like,
I think sort of right around that. Yeah.
They're like mad that Warren won't make him Christina Ricci.
Right. And then there's like, because, at this point, the audience, we've already been introduced to Warren. We're already very familiar with Jonathan, but we're like, who is this Andrew character? And so they give us a nice little update. And they're like, they make comment about the devil dogs at the prom. And he's like, that wasn't me. That was my brother, Tucker.
And he's like, I'm the one that liked the flying monkeys at the school prom, dude. School prom.
Or school play. And Jonathan has my favorite line in this entire episode when he's like, yeah, remember? Everybody was like, run, Juliet. And it's the way he says it every single time. It makes me laugh really hard. And I'm wondering who Juliet possibly could have been. I'm hoping that it was Cordelia. All right.
And she's being chased around the gym by flying monkeys. But I feel like that's something they would have brought up.
Yeah.
But apparently none of our Scoobies were there because in a couple episodes we realized that they have no idea who Andrew is either.
Well, apparently they weren't. I guess the last touch that they had with the arts was the dummy, the talent show.
Yes, where they did the Oedipus.
They probably steered pretty clear from the drama department after that. Anything to do with it. Plus, I love when Andrew's like, screen wipe.
Yes, new scene. If there's one good thing about the trio, it is Andrew.
Yes.
And Tom Lank.
It's a beautiful thing. And so that's what I appreciate this. So now we have an idea of what and who we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Now you know who is like the little squirrel hands grabbing all the money while Patrick was doing his distraction.
Right.
But what you don't know is why. What has made the three of these nerds gather together to decide they're going to become supervillains? How did they even... Was it some message board, some forum?
Probably. They were all on some like Lex Luthor appreciation forum board or like community board or something. And like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we could, oh my God, yeah, let's totally. And they got together and you see there's a whiteboard back there with like all the things that they want to do. And it's like some of the most mediocre stuff. Like fake IDs, acquire fake IDs.
It's so sad. It's so sad. But
like, you can
what's
summon
funny,
a demon, but you guys can't
right?
make fake ID.
Like, they can do in the next episode, particularly, we see that they are actually capable of doing some pretty interesting things.
Right.
They just don't have anyone to lead them properly
now. And because, like, with them all thinking or wanting to be the leader, I mean, when in all actuality, it's really Warren that is the leader, just because he's like got the most amount of testosterone, and like he wants to, like, and he's like the biggest asshole of the three of them.
He has the most legit evil inside of him.
Exactly.
As well. He, Jonathan's a sweetheart, and I don't think he'd hurt anyone on purpose.
Right.
He more wants to summon some demons to have some fun and do some stupid stuff for fun. And Andrew will do whatever Warren tells him to.
Right.
So without Warren, that you can see it in his eyes. You see that.
You can hear it in his
predator.
Voice. Like, yes, he just oozes this predatory nature. It's like, ugh, gross. Which is why I just can't be bothered to. It's so unsettling just to look at him and hear him.
And it only gets worse throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. So, and we also we already got a glimpse of that, like with the whole robot thing with his sex bot, and the way he treated his girlfriend, his real girlfriend.
Yeah.
And
Cassandra.
Yeah, just the way that he talked to her, and just Katrina, that's right. Katrina. So we already know he's got like a lot of latent misogyny, and just not even latent, just like over
full on, straight out there.
Yeah, just straight up a lot of misogyny. He hates women and hates himself. So take two, Giles and Buffy having another little chat, and he's going to help her with her debt.
Yeah.
Aw, buddy, Giles. Where's all this money?
You won't just adopt her.
I know. Just move in and just go ahead and be Daddy Giles.
Daddy Giles. You know you would have married Joyce.
I know. This makes the most sense, because he just keeps on cleaning up messes and like helping Buffy out.
Mm-hmm. But the bad thing is that he keeps on helping Buffy out.
Right.
And it's crippling Buffy from growing up.
Exactly. She's got that safety net that is Giles.
Yeah. And after a little bit more with the trio and him fashioning, going back and forth about what they're going to do, we have what might be the most compelling part of this episode.
Yes, but like with the back and forth with Mfashnik and the trio, like, and they have a little discussion, the trio. Like, Mfashnik really wants to kill the Slayer, and Andrew and Jonathan, they don't really want to have to kill Buffy. But Warren is trash, and he like pulls Mfashnik off to the side. He's like, okay, yeah, we don't have to kill her. He pulls him to the side, gets him to leave by giving Mfashnik Buffy's address. Like, dude, you suck. You're such trash.
You're such an asshole.
So yes, the number one scene of Is it the number one scene of the entire season?
I think
at least top five.
Top five.
And so
Daddy Giles is pissed.
Daddy Giles gets in that ass. Mm-hmm. And I know it sounds a lot sexier than it's supposed to, but it's not.
It was pretty sexy. I was like, "Hey Giles, go ahead, yell at her a little more."
So he and Willow
takes the glasses off.
Right.
He's always pissed when he takes it off.
Have a little time solo, and Willow's like bragging about everything she did. She's like super stoked about, and I did this, and there were snakes, and blah 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 da da da. And Giles cusses her the fuck out, basically.
Yep. Rank, arrogant, amateur.
And that's just like that's probably the least of it. Like, he goes on to talk about just how stupid and just infantile and basically just like childish behavior that was happening, da 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 da. And Willow at first, she's like, she's taken aback. She's disappointed because she doesn't want to. She's sad because she doesn't want to disappoint Giles. Mm-hmm. She's basically like her role model. And she's like, I thought you'd be proud of me. He's like, proud of what? And and it's like the whole, the type of magic that you had to conjure up to do this. She's like, not many people could do what I did. And he's like, yeah, there are, but you wouldn't want to meet them. Mm-hmm.
And he keeps going and keeps going, and then something flips in Willow. Something
happened. Yeah, he's about ready to wash his hands of it. Like, he says his last little bit, and she's like, that's right, I am a powerful witch, and it'd be best for you not to piss me off. And he even is like, oh. And then you see like the moment, like after she says it, she like snaps back to regular Willow.
Yeah.
Like there's just like a real, just like, just a
She's
really
like, come on, Giles, I don't want to fight.
chilling.
We're about to fight. And it is, this is your first taste that this is going to be a different Willow this season.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as season 6 ranks so highly for both of us, we get our Spike scene for the evening. And Buffy's out on the back porch, and she can hear Giles and Willow going at it. Why are you going to throw your cigarette on my porch?
So there's perfectly good dirt right where your feet are.
Right?
Go ahead, extinguish.
No, you're going to throw a lit cigarette on my wood porch. And Buffy puts it out with her boot, but, Spike has come to flirt.
That's all. That's all.
Hands in the pocket, head cocked. Spike has come to flirt.
Right.
And I love every second that he's on screen this season. I really do.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely...
Actually, I think he's come to check in on her.
And flirt.
And flirt.
Coming to flirt as he checks in on her.
Buffy's pants. Can we talk about Buffy's triple button fly 90s pants? Like, this is the 2000s now. Why are you still wearing 90s pants? Her wardrobe. We haven't talked about it in a while. I think she's wearing Joyce's clothes.
Yeah, like I was thinking about that. Like there's a lot of, like the shirt that she wore in the bank that did not really go very well with the skirt that she was wearing.
No.
Like,
it's like, did they pack up all her shit when she died? And she's just living out of both her bags? Like they mixed up, they figured, well, they're both dead. Might as well just get all their shit together and put it in the garage. And she's like, is this mine or is this mom's? This is... Spike is... He came to flirt and he's standing very close to her and he just wanted to make her smile. But it's the way that he stands next to her and has like that imposing head cock and tilt and lean over her that we enjoy so much.
Oh yeah. Like he is master of this uncomfortable, I'm gonna basically get my essence all over you.
Right? And she's wondering why she's always miserable when he's around, and he says something like, that's when you're alone, I reckon.
Right, exactly.
And there is a comfortability in them being alone this season. There are many scenes to come where it's just the two of them chatting about her problems. And he just listens to her. This is why we love Spike. Why we are ride or die with Spike.
Which brings me to, I read a couple, we had a couple of new-ish reviews on iTunes, and one of them called us an I Hate James Marsters podcast, which
Interesting.
Clearly they listened to maybe that one episode where we had to talk about the Dawn song and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's all that they probably listened to was that one episode, because every other time. Right, exactly. And every other episode, any other episode where James Marsters / Spike is involved, there's
We're
nothing nothing but humming sigh. Like
we only have one more episode coming up where we're not going to be very comfortable.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, I feel a little bit... I feel a little some kind of way.
Y'all need to go back.
I would like listen. So I just wanted to address that to anybody that maybe would have read that and might not understand completely what's happening here.
Believe we are ride or die.
So
with Spike. Yes,
Spike is my number one favorite character for this entire series, and they knew that because then they had the brilliant idea to ship him on over to Angel, which yes.
One of my favorite parts of Angel, every time I think about him going over to Angel, is, and I think about this quote every single time, is when he's so thrilled about Gunn peeing in Angel's chair. He peed in the boss's chair.
It's so perfect.
It's so perfect. So Giles and Dawn.
wait. I do enjoy the fact that Buffy asked Spike if he knows anything about finances.
Oh yeah.
And I would have loved for the next
to hear
scene.
his response.
The next scene is him at the kitchen table, like with all these receipts and bills and everything. He's got half glasses on. Like,
that would have been so wonderful. But I would imagine that he has even less of a profile than Angel does.
oh yeah.
There's that episode where Cordelia's like, you've been alive for how many years and you didn't like diversify your profile? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, Spike has been living basically stolen cash to stolen cash, not even paycheck to paycheck.
No. He scares people and takes their money.
That's his thing. That's his portfolio.
So Dawn and Giles are in the kitchen and they're doing something that I cannot even condone. I can't support this decision. Dawn wants... Mm-hmm. Yes. That is what I'm referring to.
Mixing parts of every cereal into one bowl.
No.
Gross.
No. Imagine like shredded wheat and Frosted Flakes and grape nuts and Cheerios and Fruit Loops in the same bowl.
Ew. I'm a little bit, I don't know, I guess I just grew up differently, but we were never one to, like, you get one open box of cereal at a time. Like,
Yeah.
we may have 3 boxes of cereal, but you open one at a time.
Mm-hmm. We had all our cereal in containers. So it was in like a plastic container so it wouldn't go bad. But there was like parent cereal and your cereal. And then we weren't allowed sugar cereals either.
Right, yeah, no, we didn't get those. Actually,
So
during this quarantine, I just bought my first box of Frosted Flakes ever.
Did you like it?
Yeah, because it makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what you have to do in quarantine time.
I know it.
I keep buying markers because I have 2 big quarantine activities. One is Legoing,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 is coloring. I've been coloring a lot. So I bought a lot of markers recently so that I can color mandalas. That's what I usually do most of the night.
Yeah.
And my thumb hurts real bad. Like my hands are so sore. But Legoing's really fun too.
Yeah. I'm sure it could be very common. And
It is.
Get your creativity out.
But it's also frustrating, like when you're trying to build a house and you're trying to put as little pressure on one piece as possible.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing falls down. You're like, I give up. But Dawn and Giles are in the kitchen and they're about to do this ridiculous, disgusting experiment. And for whatever reason, Fashion's like a little creep outside just jiggling the door handle.
And then decides to just go ahead and bust the door down.
Yeah. Like, why? Why did you jiggle that hand? What is wrong with you? But I guess, we make fun of criminals and people in movies a lot by not testing the door before he busted, just to see if it's unlocked.
Right.
And here, Fashnik actually tested the damn door.
This is true.
But he looked like a fool.
Right.
And he comes in, busting in, and tells Buffy that she has cost him.
After
Not
he has
today.
just destroyed like half of the house already, like, on entry.
Not the day, Fashnik.
Nope. That's the wrong time, wrong place. And she says her response to him is like, I cost you, what'd you do to block something? Look what you did to my house, you mook.
You mook.
You mook? What are you, a 1940s gangster? Where'd
you even hear that? Stop watching AMC before you go, or what was the Turner Classic TMC?
Right.
Before you go to bed. Just stop it. So she, Spike tries to help her, and all she wants him to do is open the basement door because she's taking him down where he could do the least amount of damage. So she takes him down into the basement, and apparently Buffy followed my plan, and she just left that basement flooded. She's like, y'all don't have a shop vac or it's been a day at least.
Right. There's a lot of stuff growing down there in this moment.
And she starts screaming full cup for repipe.
She goes full on mommy dearest.
She does. And this might be her most brutal kill because when you think about it, she beat this demon to death.
Yeah, with a copper pipe.
Beat him to death.
There was a lot of emotion trapped up in that. Not all of that was because of him. He caught a lot of shit that had nothing to do with him, basically.
And then Spike comes down halfway down the steps and it's like, did you know this place was flooded?
Thanks, Spike. Thanks.
Oh my God, if you don't get out of here.
I don't understand how it's this flooded.
How it's still going.
Right. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
None.
when she came down initially and saw the flood, like, it was pretty flooded.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, how is there any water left in your house? Like,
right.
Are your toilets flushing? Is anybody able to take a shower? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why there's so much water in your basement.
And she's got the best foundation because apparently there's no cracks for that water to get out.
Right.
Yeah, we go back to the trio.
And they're feeling pretty proud of themselves. They think they have gotten rid of the Slayer, and now the Sunnydale is theirs. And they're checking out all the things. Periscope is working. Okay.
Flamethrowers up.
Yep. And oh my God, the action figures have been deployed.
They're in a very nice case, and as a collector of things myself, I'm very, very happy with their display. It's cute.
It just makes me upset because the rest of the basement is such a mess.
Yeah.
That's like
and
the one.
Gross. The Periscope is trained on their neighbor who's like laying out sunbathing.
Right. And then they even mentioned about, what are we going to do about the Slayer? We could make her our willing sex bunny. Oh, and he puts it on the board.
He puts it on the board.
Hypnotize Buffy.
Now, the thing that I've always questioned, and that might be, when you think of what's your one question for Joss, my question is, what's the gorilla thing? Because that's the very last thing on their list is the gorilla thing.
Right.
What is that?
I have no idea.
I would ask that of any of them. I would love to ask that of each and every one of the trio.
Yes.
And Doug and Jane and Joss.
Miniaturized fort. Control the something. I guess.
Conjure fake IDs. Control the weather.
Oh, control the weather. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
The gorilla thing. Girls. Oh God, you guys are so lame.
And then the gorilla thing. And they're burning money. Like, he lights a cigar with what I think is $100 bill, but they'll be stupid. Like, that's still $100.
Right. You guys are going to run out of that soon enough. So there, everybody's like, Anya's going through Buffy's debt with her and trying to, help her out. Yeah, I don't know about that shirt. And they're everybody else is finally trying to put everything back together. So this is the first time, as many times this house has been trashed, this is the first time anybody has ever even tried to fix anything or put it back together. So you mean to tell me you trashed this house so many times that you just left it for your mom to figure out?
Apparently. All that time.
Jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Jerk.
And I do love that Giles is like, well, I know I'm back in America. I've been knocked unconscious.
You've been unconscious this whole time, Giles?
He does look, he's back. I got beat up again. I always do that. Xander's given up on the table. Yeah, I'm out of here. They realize they're going to have to get a new table, but what's really helpful is when you know someone in construction that builds things for a living and can probably take those spare parts and make a new table, Xander.
Right.
But no, he's like, I give up. I'm calling it. This table's dead.
Well, here's the thing. He also didn't have any nails anywhere near or any glue or anything like that. No, it's not going to go back together with hopes and dreams.
It's not Lego. You can't just stick it together.
And I feel, and I'm a little offended by the way he responded about the thing, which he's like, I know Joyce saved money by buying this cheap ass table.
Hey.
Do not.
Yes, she had to replace that damn table more than once.
Right. She probably, at some point, she was probably like, fuck it. And she found that table on the curbside somewhere. She's like, I'm not
right? And Dawn, I don't know if you noticed this, but Dawn did the thing that we all used to do as a kid when we didn't want to clean up. You just find one thing and you keep fucking with it.
Yep.
She's on that couch messing with that busted lamp that's never going to go back. That lamp should just go in the trash.
Right.
But she's still there trying to fit it back together, looking around like...
They don't have any glue either.
Right. So then we end our episode with a phone call from Angel. And he has to see Buffy right now, and she has to see him right now.
And Buffy has got ants in her pants, and she's like, we're just like, I have to go right now. Oh my god! And Giles like, hey, I thought we were gonna go over some stuff. He's like, you deal with it.
She's like, yeah, you do that.
Like, I didn't put you in debt,
right? Dawn ain't my child. This ain't my. I ain't gotta do this. And none of this mine.
This is a favor to you.
I know Joyce and I had that one night, but you ain't that old. Not doing it. And
my question is, how is Buffy getting to this place in the middle?
I assume she either ran there, and you know how she runs, so it probably took her a while, or she got a cab because we know she didn't drive.
Right. So I'm just confused. So she just leaves Giles there with the mess and Dawn.
Yep.
And a concussion.
She pieces out.
Sure.
I went for a literal burn this week. When Dawn asked Buffy what we could do, and Buffy replies, easy, we burn the house to the ground and collect the insurance. Plus, fire, pretty.
It's a solid plan. I mean, I don't understand why anybody just didn't go ahead and agree to that, because she and Dawn could have just gone and found a nice two-bedroom apartment.
They could have sublet Giles's place.
Yeah.
Why is he sleeping on their couch, by the way? Did he give up his apartment that quick?
I guess so. Because he wasn't really planning on coming back, was he? Like, he gave up.
I guess not. Yeah. Should have kept that apartment.
Checking up with Olivia.
It to Xander.
Yeah.
We only have one body dropped in this episode, and it's cookies. Bludgeoned to death by Buffy. I don't know if it passes the Bechdel test. There was a lot going on in this episode.
I don't think it does, because once, I don't know, Willow and Buffy get, well, I don't know, mate. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. It's tough because Willow and Buffy get together. They talk sort of
But then they end up talking about Riley and Angel.
Right. And like Anya and Buffy talk about her finances. So maybe by the skin of its chinny chin chin. Yeah, exactly.
Random trivia. The trio was originally supposed to include Tucker Wells, according to the Buffy Wiki.
Mm-hmm.
And Brad Kane was unavailable. So they created Andrew Wells and had Warren the leader of the trio instead.
That's awesome. And it worked out much better, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I think so, too. My moral of the story this week is always get at least 2 estimates when you're getting plumbing work done.
Exactly. I don't care.
You didn't need no full copper repipe. Don't let him. And copper? No, you better give me a full aluminum repipe. Copper.
That is a wonderfully on point and very timely moral for the story. So let us know what you thought of Flooded, and you can send us a MP3 file of an audio recording, less than 2 minutes, and email it to revisitingsunnydale@gmail.com. Or you could just talk to us on Twitter and or Facebook,
where we have left you some wonderful treats this week. Some new things that we found out.
Oh, yeah.
About how Dawn killed Joyce.
Dude, I mean, that's what we've been saying from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I've been saying it.
I know it.
Saying it for years.
Finally, vindication.
Right? Next week's episode. Life Cereal. I like that episode a lot.
I don't remember what that one was like. Is that when Buffy cuts her hair and is invisible?
No, that's gone.
No.
Life Cereal is the one where Buffy's trying to figure out what she wants to do for a living after she comes back from her trip with Angel.
Oh, okay.
And
this
the
is
trio,
loop.
Yep. The trio each take it upon themselves to test her.
Mm-hmm.
But the best part of the episode is when she decides to screw all of that and have drinks with Spike.
So, Make sure you join us next time for Life Cereal. And in the meantime, subscribe, follow, like, all that jazz. We're on Twitter at Back to Sunnydale, or me, Camila, on Twitter at @the_Rugged Angel.
Or me, Marcel, at mscare7338.
All right. Stay safe and healthy and indoors as much as you can.